Thank you. I'm going to begin with a moment of silence for the following. Gene Moran, a retiree from the North Syracuse Central School District. James Diffin, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Richard Hepanowicz, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Dr. Joseph Moutz, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. And Mark King, a former student of the North Syracuse Central School District. Okay, thank you. And comments from the audience? We have anybody signed? We have nobody signed up today. So we're going to go right to Board of Education Committee reports. I don't think we have any from policy, do we? We just had a meeting and reported last one, but you may tell me what you want to tell me.
Yeah, we've reported at our last meeting. So our November meeting is scheduled for the 30th. which is-
Okay, thank you. And legislative, we did have a meeting recently.
Yes, we did. We just had a meeting on the 10th of November and we discussed a lot of things, but I want to thank Lisa Goldberg. She came
Mhm.
and spoke about social emotional health, and Al Sturpey was there. And so he got a lot of information from her, how he could go to Albany with the other legislators and maybe pass some bills to help us with that situation. And then we also talked about the referendum that's coming up on December 8th. And other than that, it was a good meeting, and we're going to skip December, and we're going to meet in January 5th, and we're going to have Dr. Cook from OCM BOCES talk a little bit about pathway to graduation. I believe the Board of Regents is meeting today and tomorrow, so
Yes.
he's probably in Albany, and also diversity, equity, inclusion. And then we're going to meet again in January at the end. And then by then, we hope that we'll have some information about the state budget. And that's it, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Superintendent comments, Superintendent Bowles.
Thank you. At our next board meeting, we'll start with our building planning team presentations. So we'll have at least 2 to 3 of those a meeting until we hit all of our schools. I do want to let people know that December 2nd, we'll host our first vaccination for students ages 5 to 11 years old, and that'll be right here from 4 to 8 at our district office. And Bob had mentioned the referendum on December 8th, and Mr. Keegan and I are going around doing some presentations, initially targeting those schools that will see phase 1 as far as what we do, as far as try to work on replacing and doing some things in those buildings. I do want to comment on a few areas where we've come to a conclusion of some of our fall sports and our athletes. Cross country sectionals, we had Kate Putman place 5th, Gabby Putnam placed 9th, and Marissa Navarro placed 11th. Boys football, we're Section 3 champions. Their next game will be down in Vestal against Corning Painted Post. And the boys played at the Dome on Saturday night, and several people were present, including myself. And I want to just congratulate Julia Kulikowski. She was one of our students, and she sang the national anthem in the Dome. I have not heard a professional sing as well as she did in that stadium. It was absolutely phenomenal. Other people, Caitlin Carroll won state qualifier for and set a new Section 3 record, 515.6 points in her diving. She is 7th overall in New York State. I'll be attending probably the school play on Thursday, 12 Angry Men. That is starting this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And again, just to acknowledge boys volleyball and girls volleyball, they were finalists, but did not win sections. Girls soccer was undefeated until they met up in sections, and then they lost to Liverpool, and boys soccer ended up losing to FM, but we really did well this season with all of our athletes in our fall sports, and I just want to acknowledge them all.
Thank you. Board of Education comments. Do we have any this evening? Seeing none. I'll ask for a motion for the approval of the minutes of the last meeting of the Board of Education. Item A, motion from Mr. Crabtree, second from Ms. Scanlon. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, that is carried. I'd like to motion to take B, C, and D together, items B, C, and D. Motion from Mr. Thorne, second from Ms. Kruger. These being the placement of disabled students by the CSE in school, also in the preschool and home instruction review committee placing the home instruction students. So we have B, C, and D before us. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, that item is carried. If I get a motion, please, for the consideration of the award of the bid. Motion from Mr. Moody Wuzick, second by Ms. Scanlon. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, that item is carried. If I get a motion for items A and B, these are both A and B together, or I'd like to do A, B, and C, I'm sorry, together. Motion from Ms. Kruger, second from Mr. Moody Wuzick. We have the creation of the Dean of Students position. You saw that in the Friday letter. We have the creation of the TA position at Allen Road. And 3 FTE advisors. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you. A, B, and C are carried. D, the acknowledgement of the gift, please. Motion, put that before us. Motion from Ms. Kruger, second from Mrs. Scanlon. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We have our tax certiorari resolution, so I need a motion, to put E before us. It's going to be a roll call vote. Motion from Ms. Kruger, second from Mrs. Scanlon. That is before us. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Yes. Aye. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Also, we have the next tax certiorari before us. It's item F. If I get a motion to place that before us, motion from Ms. Kruger, second from Mrs. Scanlon. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we have another roll call vote. Aye. Aye.
Yes.
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 That motion is carried. Thank you. Motion, please, for the declaration of the marketable surplus. Motion of Mr. Thorne, second from Ms. Kruger. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Instructional personnel report A, motion, please. Motion, Mr. Marizio, second from Mrs. Kruger. Mrs. Scanlon, boom, that way. It's before us. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Motion for B, support staff personnel.